Did you feel different the first half of the season compared to the feeling that you have with your teammates on this side of the break?
You know, no disrespect to everybody. Jimmy came here. Jimmy, championship. Jimmy, take us to the promised land.
When a player like Gary Payton II drops 26 points on your head, you know the Golden State Warriors are back. When Jimmy Butler III drops a triple-double on your squad, you know the Golden State Warriors are back. When Golden State finally gets a big man that puts rims on lockdown, moves the rock like Pablo Escobar, and shoots his shots like Diddy, better get defense like OJ, 'cause it's over. Hey, what's happening, everyone? This is Switch Culture. One of the pitfalls of putting together a championship contending team is the inevitable trade-off. You either have depth or you get a top-heavy roster that relies on 2 or 3 players max to play at an elite level in order to compete. If you're lucky and play your cards right by utilizing players' bird rights and managing your trades, you can exceed the salary cap and sign some high-level role players to fill out your roster. And one simple mistake can have you cash-strapped for the entire season. This makes things a bit more difficult, but the Warriors aren't your typical organization. Of the 3 such players the Warriors signed at the beginning of the season, only the sharpshooter Buddy Hield remains. After putting up 20 points, 7 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, and 6 threes in just 25 minutes, it becomes evident why Steve Kerr still has him in the rotation. And after a 20-point night, going 7 of 10 from the field while shooting 40% from deep, Moses Moody is making a case to be a permanent feature in the Warriors starting lineup, as the starting 2-guard. While this was Moody's natural position, he's always played as the team's small forward or power forward. This development is obviously due to team injuries, but it's also a testament to the importance of player development. It's obviously a tough balance for a team that prioritizes winning, but the results can't be disputed. Put another one in the win column for Moses Moody as a starter. In today's video, we'll discuss the developments we are seeing that have been allowing this team to continue to dominate and why this is so important for the way this team finishes off the season. Before that, however, be sure to like the video and subscribe to Swish Culture for the most analytical and entertaining NBA content on the planet. Now get ready. You're about to get The biggest shocker of the night was Gary Payton II. Not only did he lead the team in scoring, this was the biggest scoring night of his career. 26 points on 11 of 16 from the field, 4 of 6 from 3, and a plus 14 in only 28 minutes. This is the definition of strength in numbers, and actually a great move by Steve Kerr, as Kerr allowed GP2 to take advantage of the high efficiency that he was giving the team from a scoring perspective. With 1 steal, 1 block, and 1 assist, he checks a couple of box score metrics for a nice finish. Another impressive takeaway here is that GP2 had 2, that's right, just 2 dribbles to get to his 26 points. This is the definition of a finisher. While last night might have seemed like his teammates were just finding him, enough can be said about what he does off the ball. Getting himself open by making cuts and constantly moving is the key component of what Gary does for Golden State. Because he's such an inconspicuous player with next-level athleticism, he easily loses his defender and wastes no time getting to the basket. He's not getting those open looks by accident. And when you have a player like Jimmy Butler who can collapse the defense due to his uncanny ability to score inside the paint, a player who can make moves off the ball and is a finisher, whether it be lobs or back cuts, will find plenty of success playing next to Jimmy. While the threes are great, one of his dribbles was a post-up with sophomore Scoot Henderson, one of the quicker guards in the league. Payton simply uses his quickness and agility to spin off Scoot and get to the finish before the help defense recovers. The Warriors do have another player that can fit in this mold next to Jimmy at an even higher level, however, which is the eventual move that will take the Warriors over the top. Now, since he joined the team, I've only covered Quinton Post when he joined in briefly in other videos. He started off a bit slow with the team, but considering what he was doing in the NCAA, what he's doing now is exactly how I expected him to play with the Warriors. This is not surprising. You can check out my QP initiation video after you finish here, as I'll have a link posted at the end. That being said, he's a rookie that's excelled in his role as a catch-and-shoot floor-spacing big. Piggybacking off his great defensive year at Boston College, we've seen his confidence improve game over game on the defensive end. This particular play shows Post matched up with Payton Sharp, an uber-athletic and quick 6'5" shooting guard / small forward. Post executes by sliding his feet with the defender, goes up straight and swats with a two-handed contest once the ball gets exposed up top, forcing a tough shot, a miss, and gives the Warriors possession. But it doesn't end there. He hustles up the floor, and where is his defender? Donovan Clingan, the 7th overall pick, is slowly lumbering up the floor well behind Post, who gets the pass from Butler and hits the wide open three. I'm sure you've heard about 3 and D, but you've never heard of 3s and Bs. That's threes and blocks, the Quinton Post game. But what about his off-ball movement? We see Post rolls to the basket in a 2-man game here with Hield. While you will never see Post get credit for this play, his rolling to the rim put pressure, pulling Clingan out of the corner just long enough for Gary to get the pass and pull the trigger. These subtle plays are what will keep him in the rotation. On another play, we see a cut here by Banton, which ended up with a rookie mistake as Post got spooked. Banton misses the layup, however, and Post quickly recovers to take away the putback. Wait a second. Did I just see 6'7" Jimmy effectively box out a 7'2" Donovan Clingan? While the Blazers ended up getting the basket courtesy of Payton Sharp grabbing a rebound off the block, third chance opportunities aren't all that common, and more playing time tends to alleviate those issues. While Post had 11 points, 7 boards, and 3 blocks in his 25 minutes, while shooting 3 for 5 from distance, he also finished with 2 assists, as that part of his game is extremely underrated. He's got great instincts, and a couple of years with the Warriors will have Post anchoring this team's defense. Jimmy did have a quiet scoring night, but his triple-double shows exactly the type of player that Jimmy is and why every single player is going to be better with him on the floor. Jimmy is literally running the offense. He feeds the ball to Post, then goes to set the screen for Moody. Now look at this dive-out fake by GP2, taking Anthony Simons out of the play. Again, the small things that make the difference. The great thing about what Jimmy is doing is that despite the overlap with Draymond, his facilitating is so good, Draymond can focus more on being a defender when Jimmy's getting guys in a position to score. The guy is like adding an amplifier to your speakers. What you notice as well is that he's not just good at making plays, he's good at recognizing when players have bought in. You're seeing a lot less ball pounding and guys cutting, getting the ball, and taking the shot. Moody clearly has bought in, and so you see him making a lot of these off-ball movements, becoming more of a finisher and more decisive in his drives to the basket. He's made strides as an on-ball defender after being in a more consistent role with consistent expectations. A lot of this is stuff that we've talked about on the channel before, with Moses Moody having a more consistent role with the team. This is how you get your younger players to develop and contribute to winning. We all saw the potential, and now that he's getting the reps, the Warriors are reaping the benefits. Despite moving on from a number of role players to get Jimmy, what was once thought of as a loss of depth really just opened up the door for other willing players to step up and fill the void. I always thought the Warriors would see their best basketball with both Moses Moody and Jonathan Kuminga in the starting lineup, and both have proven that they're capable starters. While a lot of fans have soured on them because of something beyond these players' control, it has been evident to me at least that all they need is the opportunity. Moody's contract gave him the confidence, and the injuries put him in position to take those risks. That contract was basically saying, you have 3 years to figure this out. We know you have the potential. Show us what you've got. JK is much more of a do or die, and what he contributes this season as a whole, not just for the playoffs, as he's been their second best player before Jimmy came to town, is how the front office will weigh the benefits of keeping him. Yes, it will cost him a lot of money. However, it'll be tricky as he'll have to play with a lot of uncertainty. When you consider all the other teams out there that would love to have him on their roster, it'll be a tough offseason for the Warriors. One thing is certain, however, and it's that these young players, Moody and Post, are necessary for the Warriors to finish out the regular season as strongly as they've played. I'm not expecting Hield to be a connector every night, nor am I expecting GP2 to lead the scoring in any subsequent games, but if they can come out and compete, who's stopping this team? Post your thoughts in the comments below. Just be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on all your notifications so you don't miss any of my latest upload. Thanks for watching. Till next time, swish!
Geese of the world and loons, and we just got to come in and do our job at a high level and just make the right read, the defensive play, or the right shot, and trust those guys to take us to the promised land.